and welcome to Traraj Solution. In today's session, we'll be seeing a sample Power BI report for finance department. And for this, the data source will be using from Excel, and we'll see how do we analyze a data from the Excel and how can we make a report by selecting perfect visuals as per the analysis. So in this session, just let's see a sample report. It's an example of a finance department. Okay, if you get a data of a finance department, what are the basic things we can retrieve? So this is a very sample or very basic example. Okay, so in this generation of the report, we'll see how do we create a title, then the financial year, and what was the profit regarding the revenues, orders, customers, and the quantity provided, and how the performance of the revenue based on the regions and the categories, and what was its performance ratio. So let's create a report. So as we know, the very well step of to create a report is where we go to the Power BI desktop and we'll click on the blank report, and in that blank report where you do have an option where you go with an click. Once you click on that, you go with the get data. Since it's an Excel workbook from the data source, you can select the Excel workbook, or from the Canvas app from the screen you can select it, or from the get data you can select the worksheet, that is the Excel worksheet. After clicking that, we know as per the process where the data gets loaded. Once the data gets loaded, where you have an option to transfer the data. So in the transformation of the data, where you have the query editor which gets opened, where you can do some manipulation changes as changing the account, or by adding or removing the null values and filling with the values. After making certain changes, you do an option going to the home ribbon and click on with close and apply. Then the data gets loaded. Now let's see how do we change the canvas background. If you want to change the canvas background, we need to go to the visualization. In the visualization, you have the format pane. In that format pane, you have canvas background as the property, and you can get the select the color as per the process, and the transparency should be of 0%. And once this thing gets changed, the background, you do an option how to create a wireframe. To insert some wireframe, you need to click on the insert button from the modeling ribbon. Once you click on that, you do an option as shape. From the shape, you need to select as per the requirements. Since we are going with the rectangle, we'll select a rectangle format. So next, after selecting the rectangle page, where if you need to make some changes in the format page, where you need to go near the general and click on the properties, where you need to adjust the size and the height and the width of this particular rectangle, this thing, and you need to make some styling about it. So click on the shape. In the shape, after that you have a style option. In the style option, you fill the color, where they select the color as white background, since you wanted it white background, and the border should not appear, and we'll be keeping it off. Next, how do you create cards? Since we have taken this to know the revenue, profit, and quantity. So card is the best option where to know the KPIs. So to select this, so you need to go to the card or the title, copy the title bar and paste it as the format shape, where you click on general on the properties, size, and the width. So here it comes the card. So since we have multiple this thing where we need to find the KPIs, just copy and paste it. So here is the light colors where you can see, and after that, after selecting all the cards, you need to align them horizontally. So you need to go to the format. Here in the format, where you have an option align. In the align, where you can clip it as distribute horizontally. After creating that, where and it if you want, it gives an option to align top, left, or right top. Next, how do you create a performance card? So to create a performance card, you need to go to the general and the properties where the size and height of the width need to be given. Similarly, we need to create cards for the other option as per the requirement and vision. Next, let's see how do you insert some icons. So if you want to keep some icons as per the requirement, for example, for the revenue or the quantity or the product base, you need to download it and keep it on the desktop. So click on the insert button. From the insert button, you do an option to click on the object. Once you click on the object, you will get the pop-up window where you need to select the button irrespective of the requirement. So here are the some sample related to the bank or the orders, the category calculations, and the revenue generator. Some ideal icons are being given. Next, how do you add the background to the icons? So in the same way, since it's a rectangle shape we have taken, so to color it this thing, where you need to go to the general properties, height and width as per the card design, and where you can give the shape as what shape you want. If it's a rounded corner, you need to select the rounded, keep the transparency of the 90% of this dollar signs and fill it. Okay. Next, similarly, instead of doing for each and every, we can just copy and paste it for the other logos. This is how where you can change the color of the boxes and the currencies as per the requirement. Now next, similarly, which is implemented. Next, let's see how do you insert text box for titles. As we know very well how to create a title. So since we need to go to the insert button, we do an option as text box. Once you click on the text box, where it gets opened, where you can give the title name and you can change the format, the font or the size or the color of this thing by giving the background change effects. Next, as we have seen, this is for the finance dashboard which I've given. Similarly, if you want to get for the fiscal year, where you can create the title similarly, and you can put it over here as per the requirement. Next, how do you add slices at fiscal year? So since we have given a title and you like to have the slices for the years to as per the requirement. So in the visualization file, we have the slicer chart. So we need to select the slices chart. Under the date, you have the date hierarchy, where if you want on the year based, you need to select only the year based. So in this way, here you can see the year based by removing the quarter and month dates. Okay. In this way, where you can add the slices and you can just give it a horizontal view or the precise tile view. It's a tile view where you can see side by side in a horizontal way. So in this way, where you can see the title added, the icons added, and the cards been created with simple background effects. And next is, so this is how where you can do by giving all the details. Next is, since we have done for the few this thing, and here is now after giving the title and all, after giving the textbook and the title name, for example, this is the one where we are doing for the title as revenue. Okay, in the text box, and by giving the changes. Now here, once you have given, it should be repeated in the revenue and the titles are been given as per the requirement. And now you need to call out. So under this listing based on the revenue, you need to get the revenue field where it gives the total revenue of this year, how the measure has been created. So to know the complete this thing, there may be some calculator measures or some summations already done in the Excel sheet. Similarly, you need to do carry forward for the rest of the this thing. Those are the profit, order, customers, and the quantity. Okay, similarly, once you do, where you can see all the details of this particular thing where the KPIs are given in the card based. So this is the sample based how you can generate a title and give the logos and how the distance are given. Okay. Next is, as we have seen, the revenue performance or the region where we have. So in the similar way where we need to repeat here to go to the insert button, when we need to give the text box and give the data as title as revenue performance with some logo changes with the height and the width performance. And now we need to create another title for the region performance. Just copy paste where you have a region performance done. After that, subcategory title, and after subcategory, the performance ratio. Once the titles are just copy pasting, the titles are generated. After the title is been generated, now we need to split the revenue split by country, the another text box which is generally given in the side base, and similarly for the quantity and the revenue by category. So just a data to know we are giving a subcategories on this, and in the title as revenue versus profit. So now how do you create a visualization? So now since we need to have for revenue performance, we need to go for the aerial chart. Under the x-axis, we go with the date and month, and the y-axis, we go with the revenue. So on particular this thing, what was the revenue generated particular year and what was the amount given. Okay. Next, all else in case if you want in a monthly base, you need to go click on a query and do some adding of the month separation. So if the date you want it separately, where you can go on the date field and create a month field to extract the calculate characters of this with 3 letters count. This is what the for the month base where they have been changing the extracting from the date field and doing the month field calculations. Next comes the other one. After doing that, you have the detailed base based on the monthly instead of complete within year. It is been monthly on a yearly base how the performance is generated. Next, going to the region. So in this region, we select a chart. It's a bar based, which is a scattered bar chart. And where on the x-axis, you select as revenue Y, and on the y-axis, you select the revenue as state legend category. The state, and on the legend, we take it as category. Now, if you remove the x and y axis, though it goes the title as off, with general title of FX as background. Now change some underlines of the color. After this, next we have the steps for subcategory. So in the subcategory, we go with the tabular form and we select the subcategory, the category, and the quantity revenue. Next is for the performance ratio. It's a scattered ratio where we take with the x-axis and the y-axis, giving the details as per the ratio and removing the bars of this. Okay. So in this way, where we can generate. This is the final example of a final report of a finance report once the Excel data is given. So hope so this is understood. It's a small demo explained, okay, as per the requirement. So thank you all. Let me connect with the other session, with the other topic in the another session. Thank you all.